What's up, guys? Today I'm testing out another safe switch replacement for Deoxys Defense in the classic Victreebel Bastiodon lineup, and we have a bit of a spicy pick today. Actually, it's Sealeo slotting into the safe swap position. So I guess back when Season 3 started, there were some buffs to some moves: Infestation, Hex, and Powder Snow. The real winner of that buff was Powder Snow. The other two were pretty small, and Sealeo was a Pokemon that was already kind of decent before. And now Powder Snow got buffed, and it kind of got completely ignored because of Abomasnow. So we're going to see how some of these matchups go. I'm not 100% sure Sealeo is the best replacement, but it definitely has that surprise factor. So even though it might seem very effective in these videos, if Sealeo does catch on, I think it'll lose some of its luster. So this first video, we have that A-Marowak lead into that Shiftry swap. So A-Marowak is a pretty good check for Sealeo, and they swap into Shiftry, probably thinking it's just a water Pokemon. This is the surprise factor I'm talking about. Sealeo, while half water, is mostly an ice type Pokemon with a pretty strong neutral charge move and Body Slam. And as you can see, A-Marowak and Shiftry, it's looking like a new Caleb Peng team. So they're going to swap to the A-Marowak, realizing it's ice, and they're going to take a Water Pulse. So Sealeo just doing some absolute work this game so far. You're going to see a couple more Caleb Peng teams later on in the videos. This team does not do well against those at all. That's probably one of the main weaknesses here, is just the lack of ability to deal with these teams. The grass types just deal so much damage to Sealeo, especially Ferrothorn. So you're going to see, I'm going to go in. They absolutely farmed down, or tried to farm down my Sealeo. I go into Shadow Victreebel to kind of clear their energy. I know Shadow Victreebel is going to be pretty useless here against this double grass line with Shiftry already down. So I swap into Sealeo, tank the Power Whip, and I'm going to go into Bastiodon and be able to farm down this Ferrothorn before they get a Power Whip off. So that's very important, because this A-Marowak, while it has a shield, does not have very much health. So it's going to go down relatively easily to Bastiodon, and we're going to win a matchup that we absolutely should not have, just based on the team compositions, just because of the surprise factor of Sealeo. No one really knows what it does yet. Although it honestly is a pretty good Pokemon in its own right. It's just a lot of that's just based on the surprise factor right now. So we're going to see Pelipper. I'm going to hit it for a little bit with the Shadow Victreebel. In some lineups I like to stay in. I actually have to tank a Hurricane there on Sealeo. I thought they might be baiting. If they're baiting, it does almost no damage. But I might be able to win back switch advantage anyways by throwing a couple Body Slams. Yeah, and they're going to let me win switch advantage and come in with that Galarian Stunfisk. So they're going to get really, really greedy here and try and farm down Sealeo with Mud Shots, and I'm going to get a Water Pulse off before that happens. They're not going to shield because I think it's a Body Slam, and Galarian Stunfisk takes a ton of damage. This allows me to spend, or actually just spend 2 shields to clear that Galarian Stunfisk of energy, and they're going to come in on Shadow Abomasnow. So this matchup is pretty favorable for Bastiodon, but I don't have any shields, so it's also a bit scary. I'm hoping they don't get to anything past a second energy ball, and I should have some energy going to the next matchup. I let them farm me down a little bit. I'm fine if they take me down too, as long as they use energy. But what I can't have is Galarian Stunfisk getting more than 3 Mud Shots worth of energy, because I'm 2 Razor Leafs away from a Leaf Blade. So if that Galarian Stunfisk had got a single more Mud Shot of energy, I would have lost that matchup. So you can see the importance of actually just stopping attacking there. Sometimes you have to do it if you really don't want your Pokemon to get farmed down. And that'll happen a lot with these lineups that rely a lot on fast moves. So next matchup, we're going to see Swampert come out, and there we go. Easiest win of your life. I think someone has been fed up with these Shadow Victreebel teams. They just quit right away. I mean, take the wins you can get, especially when you're trying out new lineups. And the next game, we go straight into it. Galarian Stunfisk. I decided not to shield because it's very clearly a Rock Slide, and it doesn't look like they're doing that much damage with Mud Shots, so I think I can get away with it. I'm going to Leaf Blade here, and they're going to let it through. and I've just won the 0 shield. So they're going to come with Abomasnow. I'm going to go straight into Sealeo. Sealeo Abomasnow matchup is a bit dicey. It's very bait dependent. Weather Ball Ice does almost no damage, but Energy Ball does a ton of damage. So you got to call the charge moves correctly, which is unfortunate. But I call the Energy Ball, and I'm just going to start spamming all those Body Slams. Powder Snow from Abomasnow, 4 times resisted by Sealeo. Powder Snow from Sealeo is just neutral to Abomasnow. So in that neutral matchup, you're going to keep doing more damage, and you're going to outpace the Abomasnow to charge moves as well. I let that Energy Ball through to see kind of how much damage it does. You can survive 1, and I'm going to let this Weather Ball through. But I'm going to be able to go into Bastiodon, and they have 1 Pokemon left, and luckily it is a Swampert. I see that last Razor Leaf animation go through, and I'm going to shield so that it automatically takes down the Swampert afterwards for yet another win. But yeah, if you have your Victory Bell up and your Bastiodon up, there's not too many Pokemon that can take both of them down if there's only 1 left, even like regardless of their shield situation. So next game, Altaria. I'm going to swap right into Sealeo. This is some 4 times super effective Powder Snows, and they're going to come right into A-Marowak. So honestly, pretty good, drawing out that that other Shadow Victory Bell counter right away, and they're going to let a Water Pulse through, and you can see how much damage that does. So what I'm going to do here is I think I'm going to charge up to another Water Pulse so that I can get a bait off. I want them to shield, at least blow shield, but I also see that my Powder Snows are kind of ticking away at them, and I might be able to win back switch advantage by throwing some Body Slams. So very low, they're going to throw a Bone Club, and I'm going to shield that, and at this point, I'm kind of committed to winning that switch advantage back. I see the Altaria. I really want that Bastiodon to line up with the Altaria, and they're going to let me win switch advantage back. I have to blow 2 shields, but it's worth it. Altaria comes in. I'm going to throw a Body Slam right away. So I was very close to not being able to get that off. If they have a 1-turn fast move, and that feints your Pokemon, it goes before the charge move can get off. But luckily I'm able to get the Body Slam off. And unfortunately, because they have shield and I don't get to feint their Azumarill before charge move, but they're running Play Rough. So Play Rough Azumarill, the resurgence of that because of the dark types has been great for this team, just because it either can't deal with Victory Bell or Bastiodon. As you see, the first set I actually play with this team is a 5-0. That's not something you should probably expect from a Sealeo safe swap. I think a lot of those wins also came on the back of some surprises for the other team. They're probably just not expecting Sealeo. But you can take what you can get. These are pretty high TDO Pokemon as well, pretty bulky, has good moves. Besides Water Pulse is fine, but so we're gonna see how this next set goes. Shadow Victory Bell into Marowak, so this is absolutely not great. I'm gonna swap into Sealeo, and it actually forces them out yet again, but it forces them into Ferrothorn, and this is starting to look very, very familiar. Guess what? Another Caleb Peng team. I don't know why there were so many when I was playing with the Sealeo lineup. I don't think I've seen another Caleb Peng team this entire season, but I saw a ton with Sealeo, and if they swap into the Ferrothorn right away, there's not too much you can do. You're going to see me try and play this one out. They've got Flash Cannon again on this, so Shadow Victory Bell goes down, and I think I probably just, I guess I play it out, but there's no real chance of me winning here, so maybe just a little bit frustrated about all that. I think I just want to take down the A-Marowak, but yeah, this is very hard from here, especially if they have Shiftry. I think I'm trying to get to charge moves. I think I do still have a chance somehow. I guess I technically haven't played, at this point in time, I hadn't played this matchup yet, so I'm trying to push the boundaries of some of these Pokemon and see what I could do better next time. They're going to let that through, and the Shiftry comes through. I guess I was just making sure it was a Shiftry and not just some surprise random Altaria. No need to give up if I don't actually know what the full team is. So we're going to see Toxicroak come out here. Toxicroak very good against the other 2 Pokemon on the back. I really need to take this guy out with Shadow Victory Bell. And as we know from previous videos, this takes 2 shields. But at least you get one back with the Leaf Blade, unless they just let it through, which they don't. So yeah, looks like it's going to be a shields down game from my perspective. But Sealeo and Bastiodon are both pretty tanky Pokemon. They don't really need shields. And Umbreon's going to come out. I've debated swapping into other Pokemon and just keeping Shadow Victory Bell in. But in this case, I think keeping Shadow Victory Bell in would have been a mistake, as Shadow Victory Bell can take down Lantern no problem. And Sealeo dealing a decent amount of damage with body slams to this Lantern. This Lantern is trying to farm down Sealeo so that they have a charge move for Shadow Victory Bell at the end, but they've taken so much damage that it is unlikely for that to happen. They're going to throw a Thunderbolt. It's going to fade Sealeo, but Shadow Victory Bell is going to come in and clean up. So here we have Umbreon forced to throw its energy at the Shadow Victory Bell, and it's a Shields down Umbreon versus a Shields down Bastiodon. The Umbreon at about 75% health. Bastiodon has a pretty good matchup versus Umbreon, especially with Shields down, because Stone Edge hits so much harder than Foul Play. So the opponent's kind of riding this one out, but from my perspective, it looks pretty much over for me. Looks like I can get to another charge move even before they're able to finish me off. But I'll probably be able to farm them down before that. Looks like they'll get another Foul Play off. And yeah, I had the charge move up, but no need to waste that time. Yeah, you can see Sealeo didn't really do anything that another Safe Switch couldn't do in that scenario, but we're going to see another Alolan Marowak lead, and guess what we have? It's another Ferrothorn. So, well, the first person kind of misplayed due to Sealeo. The rest of these people are understanding that Sealeo has an Ice type fast move. You don't want to be swapping Shiftry into it, and I'm going to try and play this a little better this time than the last one, because I kind of got stomped. The other person played it very well. They able to get another body slam off. They throw a power up, and I'm going to go into Shadow Victory Bell and just hope that they try and bait with Power Whips, and they do. So they bait once with Power Whip. I'm able to get to a Leaf Blade. So we'll see. Yeah, and they don't shield it. I think it's gonna be another power up, but it's actually a Thunder, and I'm able to take down the Ferrothorn. The problem is now I've got a 2-shield Bastiodon versus an Alolan Marowak and a Shiftry. This is gonna be very tough. They only have 1 shield, so that's my saving grace. The problem is they get to another Bone Club there. I feel like I'm gonna shield this, just because Bone Club does almost as much damage as the Leaf Blade, and they get a back-to-back, and I somehow don't get a fast move in the middle there. So I'm going to throw a Flamethrower. They actually take it, and I have to farm this Shiftry down and bring energy into the next matchup, but unfortunately, Alolan Marowak will vastly outpace me to that next charge move, and it actually ends up being pretty close. I played this matchup much better. That's what you I guess maybe just an example of how to learn from a matchup. If you lose once, kind of just figure out what you did wrong and what you could do better. This time I just shift Shadow Victory Bell in after Sealeo goes down. I let Sealeo go down instead, and just am able to tank charge moves and take out Ferrothorn. So in this case, we have a Galarian Stunfisk, and I eat the Rock Slide. They eat Leaf Blade, and I win the 0 shield. So Skarmory comes in, and I go in with Sealeo. Sealeo into Skarmory is an average matchup, and they decide to go into Lantern instead. So I think this is a case of people seeing Sealeo and not realizing there's a Bastiodon in the back anymore. It's not the classic Deoxys Defense or counter user, right? So they think that there might be a different Spice team, like maybe a double Water or double Ice team. But Lantern comes in, cleans up the Sealeo, and my Shadow Victory Bell has just enough HP to finish off the Lantern, and now we have 2-shield Bastiodon versus 2-shield Skarmory, and this matchup is over. So once again, kind of a bit of a surprise factor from Sealeo. If this team caught on, people would know there's a Bastiodon on the back, and they probably would not have swapped their Skarmory out there. Either way, you're in a pretty good position, just because Lantern doesn't actually do that well against Bastiodon, and we're going to see a bit of a spice team here. That's an Alolan Golem. I've never seen that before, but I end up with Bastiodon into Alolan Marowak, which is ideal for this team. No one else really deals with Alolan Marowak, and they're just going to let that Stone Edge through. So as soon as they let the Stone Edge through, I realize something is wrong. Shadow Machamp comes out, and they farm down Bastiodon, meaning that they have enough energy for a couple charge moves. But they throw Rock Slide instead of trying to bait, and it's game over at that point. Alolan Golem, not really sure what the moves are. I'm assuming there's some sort of wild charge. But Shadow Victreebel will take down Alolan Golem so fast it won't matter. And we managed to win 3 games that set. So if you're paying attention, the only 2 games we lost that set were against Caleb Peng teams. A team that is not designed to counter this team, but does very handily counter this team. I'm still trying to find a way to beat it with this specific lineup, but it's very hard. A lot of spicy teams today. So this is a Lairon. I actually luckily knew the moveset for Lairon because I've been thinking about it as a Bastiodon replacement. It has great charge moves, but unfortunately doesn't have a good fast move. If it had Smackdown, it would be a fantastic Pokemon. And I think you could definitely use it instead of Bastiodon. It runs Rock Slide and Body Slam, which are 2 fantastic charge moves. They're going to come with the Hypno, and I'm going to go in with Sealeo. So another Lantern. I wonder if during this day someone was running a Lantern team or on YouTube, or someone was or Caleb Peng made a new video, because there's a lot of Lantern teams and a lot of Caleb Peng teams. So once again, they swap into the Lantern into the Sealeo. It's just too juicy to resist, and Shadow Victreebel takes it out. And now it is Shadow Victreebel versus and Bastiodon versus Shadow Hypno, or sorry, Purified Hypno. And unless this guy is running Focus Blast, it's not even a threat. That's a Thunder Punch. If I was counting moves, I would have realized that it couldn't have possibly been a Focus Blast. But I thought I was going to get to the Stone Edge before they could get a Focus Blast anyways. So that's a pretty good matchup right there. Sealeo has been doing a really good job at drawing out Pokemon that Shadow Victreebel can take down. So we're going to see Galvantula lead here. The way to play this is I usually take 2 shields to take down the Galvantula, but I found another technique that I might make another video, or I will make another video about in the near future, about forcing an overtap. So if you're counting moves there, that Galvantula used 1 extra Volt Switch, and that's because I kind of forced him to overtap by throwing my Leaf Blade in the middle of his 6th Volt Switch. So I'll make a video about that because it's kind of confusing. I'll make that and another advanced mechanics video just about number of fast moves, and hopefully they'll be done by the end of this week, so that people can kind of see like what I'm doing in that Galvantula matchup. In that case, I still have to spend 2 shields, but there has been a couple times where I've actually saved a shield by using that mechanic, and saving a shield can certainly win you a game. So I'm going to throw a Leaf Blade here, and they're going to shield, and they shield because it's a CMP tie. I knew they were at the charge move, but I wanted to swap out to Bastiodon to catch it, but unfortunately I didn't, and even if I did, it wouldn't have really mattered because they're running Galarian Stunfisk in the back. No amount of shields is going to help me win that one. So we're going to see Azumarill lead. This is a very favorable lead. They're going to swap right into Galarian Stunfisk, and Galarian Stunfisk is a huge problem for the back line of this team. So I'm going to have to use everything I can to try and take him out with Shadow Victreebel. I let that Rock Slide through, and I kind of regret it, but they then let the Leaf Blade through, and that's completely fine with me. Then they're going to swap into Skarmory, and you're going to see Sealeo versus Skarmory. I throw 1 Powder Snow before a Body Slam each time, so you're going to see me do that again probably. Except they switch. So same thing here, because they're 3-turn fast moves. I'm going to throw either 4 Powder Snows or 1 Powder Snow. 1 plus a multiple of 3 Powder Snows. And I'm actually just going to let that through because I thought my Victreebel had a bit more HP. But either way, Bastiodon can come in and farm down both Azumarill and Skarmory with 2 shields. Oh, I thought I only won 2 that set, but I'm not done the set yet. 2 wins so far. We're going to go into Galarian Stunfisk lead. Once again, I need to eliminate Galarian Stunfisk for the good of the back half of my team. I'm going to let that Rock Slide go, and they're going to come with Galvantula. So I actually take a bit of damage on Victory Bell there, and they let through the Leaf Blade. I didn't expect that at all. I should not have thrown the Leaf Blade because now when Bastiodon comes in, they have Galarian Stunfisk, who doesn't really care if Bastiodon is full health or if Bastiodon is at like 25% health. Earthquake is going to pretty much one-hit KO regardless. I'm going to go into Shadow Victory Bell. I'm going to need to shield here at least once to take down Galarian Stunfisk, and they're going to swap right into Tropius. So this is a very close matchup. You're doing super effective damage with Powder Snow. They're doing super effective damage with Razor Leaf. Razor Leaf obviously hits a bit harder here, and it's going to come right down to the wire. I'm throwing Body Slams because I think I can get to another one, but it turns out I cannot. I'm one hit away, and they're going to be able to finish off Shadow Victory Bell before I can take them down. So that's kind of a misplay on my part by throwing that that Leaf Blade on Galvantula. I should have just swapped into Bastiodon and locked them into the bad matchup without having to expend a charge move. So pretty much I just wasted the Leaf Blade there. It didn't really do anything at all. So we're going to see a Toxicroak lead here. And once again, another lead that I need to eliminate for the good of my back line. As that's one of the advantages of Sealeo, actually, is that it shares some weaknesses with Bastiodon, so it'll bait out some of these Pokemon that really threaten it. Here we're going to see a Bastiodon versus Bastiodon matchup. They let the Leaf Blade through, so I immediately swap into Bastiodon, and I realize that I can enter the next matchup with a couple flamethrowers almost. Just because the more charge moves I have, the more damage I can do to that Toxicroak. I undercharge that a little bit, as you can see, so I can get more energy in, and I throw a Smackdown and a Flamethrower, and I'm not going to get to that second Flamethrower, even though I tried my absolute best. I'm going with Shadow Victory Bell, though, and trying to clean this Toxicroak up. It's very important that I get rid of it because it still deals with Sealeo very well, and luckily it does not get to another charge move. So Azumarill comes in. I'm going to hit it a little bit and go with the Leaf Blade. At this point, I think I'm just going to try and KO it, and he's saving some energy for the next matchup, hoping that he can one-shot it, but it's an Ice Beam, and that's 4 times resisted. Obviously, wasn't expecting the Sealeo to come in, and there we have a 3 out of 5 set. So I think that's the last set I had to show. They were all positive sets, but I felt like a lot of the success was predicated on just Sealeo being a surprise factor. But a lot of the losses were also just to Caleb Peng teams, which I haven't seen since either. Like it's been a while as well. But I do think Sealeo is a very viable swap in this scenario. It theoretically works very well with Bastiodon, and in practice, it's able to draw out the fighters and the Galarian Stunfisks and deal quite a bit of damage, if not 4 shields. Much better than Bastiodon can. So you can kind of draw out the Bastiodon counter, force a couple shields, do a bit of damage, and then take it out with Shadow Victory Bell, and hopefully Bastiodon has enough to sweep in the end. A lot of people aren't expecting the Water Pulse, so feel free to throw that as well. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Obviously, I wouldn't be showing you guys Spice if I didn't think it could work as well at a very high level. I'm not in the game of running Spice teams for the sake of Spice. If I'm going to run a team, it's because I truly believe in it, and I truly believe that it could help you guys out to use it. So once again, if you like this content, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks again for watching.